Medicare annual enrollment period. What is it? When is it? How does it work? Let's dive in. Medicare annual enrollment period, or AEP. When is it? What is it, and how does it work? Well, first let's start with the basics. When is it? The Medicare annual enrollment period technically runs from October 15th of every year until December 7th. Now, that doesn't mean that that's the whole picture, because in the month of September, if you were already on Medicare, the company that you have currently is going to start sending you something called an annual notice of change, or an ANOC. That annual notice of change is actually going to give you an insight onto what your plan looks like for the following year. So although annual enrollment doesn't technically start for enrollments until October 15th, some of the information is going to be released to you right around the beginning to the mid of September, and you're going to get an idea what to prepare for. Now, as of October 1st, all companies will then make their information public for what the plans look like for the following year. So again, although annual enrollment runs from October 15th to December 7th, the annual notice of change, if you're a current member, will be released in September, and then all plans will release what their plans look like for the following year as of October 1st. So as of October 1st, you can start to take a look. Check on Medicare.gov to see what your drugs look like for the following year, or what the plan benefits look like in your Medicare Advantage plan for the following year. And then, as of October 15th, the enrollments actually begin. You cannot do any enrolling prior to October 15th unless you're new to Medicare and in a different type of enrollment period. But as for the annual enrollment, the enrollments start October 15th and they end December 7th. Any plan you choose in that time frame will then start on January 1st of that following year. Now here's the good piece of news. A lot of people are worried that they might not make the right choice during annual enrollment. What if they want to change it? Well, here's the good news. You can make as many enrollments as you want during this annual enrollment period, and whatever the last plan you choose is the one that will actually start January 1st. So for example, say you pick a plan right on October 15th, and then a month later you find out, I don't really want that plan, there's something better. Well, you can choose again. And even a couple days later, you could choose a completely different plan. You are going to be able to make as many choices as you want, but the final choice that you make before December 7th is the one that will actually start on January 1st. So for our core basics, annual enrollment runs from October 15th to December 7th, but a little bit earlier than when the enrollments start, you'll be able to view some of that documentation so you know what to expect for the upcoming year. Now, what can you do during annual enrollment? Well, first things first, the point of it is to change your prescription drug or Medicare Advantage plan through Medicare. We'll start with the first and then move on to the second. The first is prescription drug plans through Medicare. People that have original Medicare with a standalone drug plan have the right to change that drug plan during the annual enrollment period. Maybe the drugs or the medications that you were taking throughout the year changed and there's a better plan that's available for you. Maybe the plan you have currently, which is very common, is changing the benefits on you. Maybe they changed how much the drugs cost. Maybe they changed what drugs are covered. It's always important if you have a prescription drug plan to just double check every year to make sure your drugs are still covered and they're still covered at the price you expect. Otherwise, the annual enrollment period would be a perfect time to take a switch or to choose a new drug plan. Now, in addition to switching between drug plans, you also have the right to switch between Medicare Advantage plans, meaning every year, the Medicare Advantage plans might change. New ones might be released that have better benefits. You can always take a look every year and decide, do I want to stay in the Medicare Advantage plan that I currently have, or do I want to take a look at a new one? Again, the same thing falls true as it did for prescription drug plans for Advantage plans, which are that you have the right to look at new plans, but they also have the right to change things on you. They might change how much your drug costs or what doctors are covered, so always good to double check. Now, here's one big misconception that people have about what you can do during annual enrollment. A lot of people think that if you have Medicare with a Medicare supplement, that during annual enrollment, you can just change your Medicare supplement to a different one, pick a cheaper one, or change from a Plan G to a Plan N. That is actually not true. Okay, we're going to use this example excluding states like New York, Connecticut, and Massachusetts, where you can change your supplement all year long with no health questions. During annual enrollment, you can change drug plans and Advantage plans, and you can change your Medicare supplement, but it's not a guaranteed switch the way that changing your drug plan or changing your Medicare Advantage plan is just guaranteed to you. Pick a new plan and you're in for January 1st. Medicare supplements can be done at this time frame. They can also be done all year long because changing your Medicare supplement is based on answering health questions, not based on an enrollment period like the annual enrollment period. Again, let me repeat that. Changing your Medicare supplement is based on health questions and it can be done all year. It's not based on this specific time of year that they call annual enrollment. Now, the one thing that does play in here is that if you're in a Medicare Advantage plan and you want to go over to a Medicare supplement, this is the time of year that you'll typically do it, because if you can answer the health questions and get into a Medicare supplement, you're going to need to join a prescription drug plan to replace the drug portion of your Medicare Advantage plan, and that does have to be done during this annual enrollment time frame. So to go from supplement to supplement, you can do it year-round or during this time frame, but to actually leave an Advantage plan and join a Medicare supplement anew, the annual enrollment period is the time frame you have to do it, but it's still not guaranteed that you get into that supplement until you answer the health questions and see what they have. Now, in a vice versa situation, if you have a supplement and you want to go to an Advantage plan, well then this is the time of year that you do that. During the annual enrollment, you can leave your supplement and join an Advantage plan instead. So if we're looking to summarize things, during the annual enrollment period, the enrollments actually run from October 15th through December 7th, and the plan will start January 1st. We can switch between drug plans. We can switch between Advantage plans. We can switch from a supplement to an Advantage plan, but if we want to go from an Advantage plan to a supplement, we'll need to answer health questions to do that, and it may not be guaranteed that you make that switch. I cannot stress enough that that's the biggest misconception, is people think, I'll just join a supplement during the annual enrollment period, not realizing they have to answer health questions to do so. The last piece we want to touch on here is just how important it is to double check your plan for the following year. Most times, whether it's prescription drug plans or Medicare Advantage plans, those benefits do change year over year. And as a good example, on the Medicare Advantage side, sometimes if they've come out with new plans that have better benefits or are more suited to the consumer, they don't always get rid of the old plan. And if you have, quote unquote, an older Medicare Advantage plan, your company or other companies may have released new plans that could suit you better, that could have better copays or better benefits, and they're not going to boot you out of your old plan. They're just going to leave you there in most cases. So it's always important that you take a look and you see if there's a plan that's better for you rather than just staying put blindly. So hopefully that's been helpful. Annual enrollment will run from October 15th to December 7th. You'll get some information prior to that point so you can do some reviewing. You enroll between the 15th and the 7th, and then the plans start every year on January 1st. So hopefully that video was helpful. You can always reach out to us at www.njlifeandhealth.com. Call our office in Toms River, New Jersey at 848-226-6897. We'll be happy to walk you through and do an annual enrollment with you. And feel free to like, subscribe, comment below if there's questions you have, comments you have, or if you want to see other videos filmed. And we'll look forward to seeing you in the next video.